So some interesting stories in the last little while, and here on a 7-7 day and a 7 year, if it's just the two digits, we have Sydney Sweeney. Now, what I thought was interesting about this is there's been another story from Sydney town, in fact, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and of course the bridge has been a big thing this year with the Pontiff and the Golden Gate, and going back, of course, to Francis Scott Key. It's been a lot of bridge ideas. And so we have the Sydney Bridge idea, same time we have the Sweeney. That's an old English TV show with Dennis Waterman. And it always had a sort of shifty element like they do in England. So I think that's interesting. And of course, we have the SS with this one. But the fact that this just turns up, and then you have that Sydney one with the protest at the same time, highly unusual. And this one here, of course, we have the 7-6, and ultimately the 13 for the 4, the door. Now we're coming into the gate to a bridge idea, Golden Gate Bridge, and it's tomorrow. I'm doing this video on the 7th here in Australia. I just waited to the 6th. I thought something might occur there with that 8-6 idea, 6-8 that we've been seeing and we saw on the beach with Comey. But nothing that major seems to have happened. But certainly the Golden Gate, I mean the Lion's Gate coming now, and then we have the rising of Sirius. Now Sydney is the city of the sun, first major city to get the sun as it were in the day, something I've covered before. And so I think that's interesting. Of course, we had the Olympics in Sydney, which had that Kathy Freeman, the end of the free man idea, which has been covered years ago by many a channel. So Sydney often in the thing, and of course we have the double E prominent in the middle here, 3-3. So very interesting images come out of the Sydney protest, and certainly they've got something there for everybody. You're either going to love or hate it, and they've got several different interest groups. Here, of course, you can see what it says here. And of course, this is the Salem and the Wales idea as well, which we've covered many a time. Yes, this image isn't going to be well received by the average Australian, so it forces the average Australian to be going back to the other camp, as it were. Why, people with a lot of enthusiasm for this who marched and that, this isn't going to worry them too much. Uh, but certainly some strange imagery that they put up for an event like this, and it appears that they're climbing up on top, which I'm finding very strange. This image here, how there would ever be where you could get this actual shot. Yes, the TH and the whales. Just saw this, the inversion of this, and this TH. Now we had Hulk Hogan, and he is Terence or Theodore. I'm not sure. It's a Terry, but that's the idea of the TH. Bolle, just like Bowl Skin, like Big Al's house. Uh, and Gene. So the genetics, just going back to Sydney Sweeney, it's quite a neat triangle with Hulk, the HH, his connection to the San Francisco Bridge idea, to the main event and Lions. And there's been some imagery of Trump walking amongst the lions. Some people saying he's going to be thrown to the lions. But here's the inverted triangle too, I might add. No, there's nobody else in this image, so I don't know what's going on here. Certainly some very strange imagery out of in the media all around any given day, but over this Sydney and Sydney Sweeney ideas, plenty of strange imagery.
The Scottish people, they're tough people, they're good people. Actually, they're very great people.
Donald Trump loves Scotland. The US president has deep historical ties and some more recent business ties to the country. Trump's mother, Mary Ann MacLeod, was born in 1912 on the Hebridean Isle of Lewis before emigrating to the US as she turned 18. A native Gaelic speaker, she was one of tens of thousands of Scots who travelled to the US in a bid to escape economic hardship. Long before he moved into the White House, Donald Trump, along with his sister and his cousins, visited the house where his mother grew up in the village Tong. He's spoken before about his admiration of Scotland's history and their defiance against the odds in battles of the...
Yes, so I'll be making a video at the end of the 8th or into the 9th, just seeing if anything's happened. But certainly the August 11, Hulk Hogan's birthday, and also gives us the idea of an 88. That could be the one. But I'm not expecting too major, but just something on the lines of Maui or the raid of Mar-a-Lago. But we never know when they will have their next bigger one either. All right, thanks very much, folks.